England 5, Serbia 0, and finally, under Thomas Tuchel, we click into gear. And maybe, listen, I'm probably going to forget a performance or two because there were so many drab ones under Gareth Southgate in the last couple of years. One of the best performances, one of the best nights as an England fan for a very long time indeed. Brilliant from the first whistle. Absolutely dominant. 24 shots on goal in this game, 12 on target. This is what should happen on a far more regular basis when England play. It just should. The talent we have, the quality, the level that our players play at. Yes, Serbia went down to 10 men later in the game where we scored 2 more goals, but England by far and away the better side. Do us a big favor if you haven't done so already and get that like button hit. Get yourselves subscribing to the Football Terrace as well and get that bell notification button turned on. But listen, we haven't conceded a goal in the qualifications, which was good. But all the other performances left me feeling a little bit worried and concerned. I really want Thomas Tuchel to work. He's one of the highest caliber coaches we've ever had in my lifetime. We did have Fabio Capello. Yes, outside of that, we don't, man, you know, England don't bring in Champions League winning, top level, you know, managers that have regularly won major leagues, won Champions Leagues. We have that in Thomas Tuchel, and I really wanted it to work. I really wanted it to click, and I felt like things moved that little bit closer tonight. Have I spelled Serbia's name wrong in the title? I have. Well done for spotting that. I wouldn't have seen it because I'm dyslexic. But I've seen it now because you pointed it out. Thank you very much indeed for letting me know that. Haaland, Hungary. Yeah, listen, Norway did a madness tonight, but it is Moldova. I'm only saying that because in the group chat, the United fans were panicking. Oh, my God, Haaland's coming for us. Haaland's coming for us. It's Moldova. I wouldn't be too worried about that one. Terry, have you seen the flyer from That's Football? Yeah, I did. It wasn't the flyer. Clip this up and send it to Mark. Clip up what I'm about to say. Get your phones out, screenshot, like screen record. I'm sorry to say this, Mark. The flyer, yeah, cool. What the fuck was that around the back of your neck? Are your glasses on a strap? That sent me. I was finished. It wasn't about the flyer. The strap around the back of his head. I didn't know people did that. Is that a thing? I've never seen it in my life. Like, not in real life. Anyway, let me know. I did see that, though. I did see that. Want more goals. We scored 5 and still panicking. I like that we carried on trying to score tonight. I really, really did. But look, I thought overall, very, very good from England tonight. We're going to break it down. We're going to go through it in a little bit more detail. So make sure you've hit like buttons. Make sure you are subscribing. And make sure that bell notification button is turned on tonight. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it bluntly. Deadly tonight. England were deadly. We were clinical, potent, dangerous, and a word I want to use is persistent. There was a relentlessness to our attack, and I felt that in other games we tried it, but the speed of play was a little too slow. Tonight we moved the ball quickly. There was wonderful movement, and there was a couple of standout players in this. Now Declan Rice is going to rightfully again tonight, just like the last game. Look, Anderson deserved a lot of credit because it was his England debut. He did well against Andorra, deserved his start tonight, and I thought also played well. But last game and this game, Declan Rice has demonstrated why he's one of the best midfield players in the world. Just even when you're up, when you play international football, you might be up against inferior opponents. But this is where your real class comes in, and it isn't your technical ability. It's the way you handle yourself on the football pitch. It's your ability to ensure that your class maintains itself. You don't become lazy. You don't become complacent. And Declan Rice did that. But this man's ability to cross the ball is out of this world. Now, maybe it's because Declan Rice is not seen as fashionable or cool to some people. But when it comes to his set piece delivery, I wouldn't put him in David Beckham's category because I think David Beckham is in a world of his own. But when it comes to crossing the ball from set pieces, he's better than Gerrard was. He's better than Trent is. He's better than Reece James is. And I mention these individuals because they were fantastic at it. So I already know there's people commenting going, how dare you slag those players? No one's being slagged off. No one's being attacked. Nobody's being ridiculed here whatsoever. I'm just talking about the fact that I'm naming 3 amazing set piece takers. We know how good Reece James can be at crossing the ball. We know how brilliant Trent is. We know what a fantastic delivery of the ball Steven Gerrard had. But the frequency that Declan Rice is able to find his teammates is unbelievable. And even when you watch games, so see if you the Gooners in the group chats I'm in were like, well, couldn't do that against Liverpool. Quite a few of his crosses were still into the right places. Sometimes it's good defending that clears them. Sometimes it's bad attacking that doesn't convert them or create a chance. But this man's ability to cross the ball is amazing. And what I love about it, about 3 years ago, I was getting into a lot of debates online. I think Bruno Fernandes and Trent were the cause of this. But we got into this really weird... Social media has made a lot of people say a lot of weird things. And I remember people telling me that corners and set-piece crosses and crosses in general into the box, and this is probably going to happen again now, so I'm getting ahead of the curve because it died away a little bit. But people started saying it's just spamming the ball. It's just grenade football. You're just spamming it into an area and hoping somebody gets onto the end of it. There's no skill. And this has to be one of the biggest pieces of garbage, one of the biggest pieces of nonsense I've ever heard in my life. Otherwise, everyone would be able to score or at least create chances from corners on such a regular basis. No, it's about how you deliver the ball, the speed, the curve, the flight of the ball. You can't just knock the ball into a dangerous area any which way you want, because sometimes it's easier for defenders to clear. Other times it's imagine you loot the ball too high. Any goalkeeper can get out there by the time it lands. If it takes seven and a half hours to come back down to earth because you've looped it so high, obviously I'm exaggerating slightly. The way he delivers the ball is amazing. The cross for Guehi's goal was so pinpoint and perfect. Very well run set piece, actually, with, I want to say it was Gordon. It might have been somebody else who went early that took a defender with him, which meant Guehi could leave his marker but not be offside. Very, very clever indeed. But Declan Rice, again, brilliant performance, and his set-piece delivery deserves praise. Now, tonight on the field of play for England, there, of course, were, I mentioned Anderson, good performance. Harry Kane scoring his goal, did a very good job. There'll be loads of people getting praised tonight, but Noni Madueke has to be discussed. I was someone that was very critical of Arsenal signing him because I saw him at club level, and I haven't changed my mind about what I'm about to say at club level, but I saw a player that dribbles well, beats a man, looks dangerous, but there's very little end product. Or not enough end product considering who he plays for and the technical ability that the man possesses. But, and this is very, very important indeed. He started the season quite well, actually. At Arsenal, his first couple of games that he started, I think I said in one of my group chats, Nonny's look sharp, Nonny's look dangerous. What do you mean, Don? What do you mean? Staffy, what do you mean? Going at me. Look dangerous. And I thought there was such an irony from Don calling him out, because I know he didn't get end product, but you used to always have a go at Saka for not, when he doesn't get GA, you were like, well, what else did he do? Well, Nonny was persistently running at a fullback, creating problems. You saw it against Liverpool. Didn't win all of his duels. Sometimes Kirk had to get that last-ditch tackle in, but he had Kirkes scrambling, and that is the position you want your fullback in. You want them fighting for air when you're going up against them, and Nonny's done a very good job so far for Arsenal. But let's put Arsenal aside for a moment. In an England shirt, Noni Madueke in the last 9 games has been brilliant. Performance is great. The XG is there. Sorry, the GA is there. 5 goals or assists in his last 9 games for England. Gets his first goal tonight, which I thought was majestic. England moving the ball well. A wonderful touch and pass from Rodgers, who I thought was excellent as well tonight, by the way. But he puts in Madueke, and it's the first touch. The first touch gets it out of his feet, cuts out the lane of the defender coming back to tackle him, and enables him to bring the ball into the danger area where he can go to far post, near post. He's waiting for the goalkeeper to make a move. The goalie actually stands too still for too long because he's just panicking, and Madueke lifts it over him. It was a fantastic goal. Of course, we see him. He didn't officially get the assist in the last game because it was a deflected own goal, but very dangerous in that match as well. And you could see the defenders of Serbia tonight. They did not want to go up against him. And this is so positive for England. One, even if he flops for Arsenal, I don't care as long as he's playing this well for England, because that's the team I support. I'm an England fan. And I had this train of thought in the game. I said it in one of our group chats, and that was that England have had players in my lifetime, and there's a few of them. Steve Stone was one. He used to always come on and look very good in an England shirt. I know he missed a penalty in 2004, and we never saw him again. But only a certain age group and above will remember how good Darius Vassell was coming on in an England shirt, covering in positions all way back when. Awful at penalties. I don't think he kicked the ball for us again after that, but actually a really good impact player. Then there was more high-profile players that started more regularly that I felt were far better internationally than they were at club level. Danny Welbeck, Peter Crouch, both standout examples that at international level, there was something about it that really suited them. And I get that feeling with Noni Madueke. There is something about international football where it just agrees with him, where it just kind of suits him. And maybe that's because, you know, in the Premier League, most teams now have got fast players, at fullback, fast players that are covering in wide positions, great levels of athleticism. It makes it harder to deliver. Maybe we'll see a difference when we're at the World Cup and he's up against bigger and better teams, hopefully in the latter stages of that tournament, if we, God willing, we get there. But for England, this is positive. With Saka out injured, and we don't know how long he's out for yet. Maybe the update's come and I've missed it, so I apologize. But England, Arsenal need this too, and there's almost an overlap here, and maybe it will work. But England needs someone that can come on that right-hand side for Saka when Saka has got to come off, not playing well, injured, not in the squad. A little bit like Arsenal, there's been a bit of a glaring hole. Bowen, obviously, someone goes, Bowen's got to play there, Bowen's got to play there. I agree, but Bowen would be a lot of people's pick. Although, from what I've seen from Madueke so far in an England shirt, I would pick Madueke. And it isn't, I think Bowen's a better player, but it's about who's doing better in an England shirt. And that has been Madueke. He looks more dangerous. I like the way he plays. So I can compartmentalize what I've seen from both at club level for what I've seen at international level. And I think Madueke is the one. Deadly. The man was deadly tonight, and he should be very, very proud of his first goal and of that performance as well. But overall, I thought England, this is what I want to see more from England. We need more performances like this, not just for us, the fans, but it puts a lot of fear into the other nations. It makes them less confident of playing us. It makes them more fearful of us. And you win games, you win them a lot easier when teams have a bit of fear in them. When teams fear you a little bit, it's always, you can beat them in the tunnel at times. You can beat them in the first 10 minutes if they have that little bit of fear. And you've got to be clinical. You've got to be deadly. And that is what England were tonight. Give me your thoughts. Give me your opinions in the comments section below, people. Let's do it. Let's have a look at some of the comments that have come through here. Terry Glazing, Arsenal players. No, they're England players tonight, my friend. They play for England. They played well. I'm praising them. Sorry if you don't like it, but that's it. Roy Keane on Morgan Rogers. He reminds me of Gascoigne. He's got a bit of Gascoigne about him. So whenever if you watch a Morgan Rogers, you watch a Mateus Cunha, if you youngsters don't know what Gazza was like, Gazza in his pomp, that's what he was as a midfield player. So he wasn't your sort of Paul Scholes, Michael Carrick controllers in that way. He was kind of like this. He was more of like a Cunha or a Morgan Rogers, but his ability on the ball was out of this world. He could also pass like Paul Scholes. He was just something so special, Paul Gascoigne. And if you didn't get to watch him play, you really did miss out. He was a phenomenal football player. He really, really was. I think if he played in this era, he'd have got a lot more goals and even assists. You've got to remember, in that era that he played in, you often get played with two strikers. So the midfielder's job was to sort of provide the ball into a certain area more than it was to score and sort of assists. But he was fantastic. It wasn't like he didn't get goals. It wasn't like he didn't score. I think there was a season at Tottenham where I think he got 19 goals as an example. It got harder for him as people got to remember as well. The man had some ridiculously bad injuries throughout the 90s as well. But decent. I think he scored average like 1 in every 5 games for England as well. So it wasn't crazy numbers, but that was when there was 2 strikers. So midfielders by and large in that era, barring a couple of anomalies, didn't score a lot of goals because of the way teams were structured. He'd probably play more in that kind of Cunyery 10 kind of role now with 1 striker, and would probably score a lot more goals. The midfielders, you didn't get as much box crashing as you have done in the last 15 to 20 years. It's kind of, that started more with the 1 striker. Because often if a midfielder was doing that, you'd be getting in the way of the strikers that were already in the box. So, yeah, fantastic player he was. Fantastic. Tuchel, so honest in interviews, respect. I haven't heard what he said. Tuchel identified all these new players that he wants to make him a good manager. Right, okay, I hear you. The live chat is crazy. Rice is the best and mid and rubbish all at the same time. It's like this is all that's going to happen because it's art. Listen, because it was the Arsenal players that did well, there are certain people that are angry about it and they're going to lose their minds. That's just part of the course. It's part of the course. It's obvious that was going to happen because a lot of people, whether it's right or wrong, don't want to see the Arsenal players get praised. You'll then get, there'll be the added insult to it as well. And I get it. There'll be Chelsea fans tonight raging tonight that Madueke has done well because we all do this. When a player leaves your club, there's this part of you that wants them to do badly. Typically speaking, there's a handful of people that leave. Like when Henry left Arsenal, they all wanted him to do well. Ronaldo left Man United, we all wanted him to do well as an example. It doesn't always go that way. But I'm not surprised to see people attacking them. I don't even need to read the comments tonight what's going to happen. But yeah, imagine not praising some of the best players in an England shirt tonight because of their club team. Not going to happen here. Go to a shit YouTube channel if you want them to just sit there and bullshit and lie. Win 2-0 versus Andorra. Then discredit Norway versus Moldova. Okay, Italy beat them 2-0. Haaland 49 goals in 45 games. Odegaard 1 in 8 GA. Listen, I'm not disregarding them, but Italy are not very good at the minute, by the way. We saw that last night. But Moldova are not. Listen, in fact, I wasn't disregarding Moldova, though, was I? You didn't hear what I said. What happened is, my friend, I know you're one of our members and I love you, but you got cognitive dissonance kicked in. What I said is there was Man United fans panicking, and I basically said, we're not Moldova. The gap between Man United and Man City is not as big as between Norway and Moldova. There is a compliment in there for you that isn't disregarding them, But, I mean, 11-1 is excessive. There's no doubt about it. But they barely win games, this team, unless they're playing sides like Andorra, if we're being absolutely honest. Like, to put it into context about how bad Moldova are, they only beat San Marino 1-0. Like, that should tell you, like, let's be honest about it. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not a brilliant team. 11-1 is really good, but it's amazing, but I'm not looking at that going, oh my God, Haaland's going to skip 5 passes at the weekend now. With all due respect, I don't think that. Brilliant result for Norway. Congrats to all the players. But my point of bringing it up is Man United fans that were panicking in my group chat, I think they're doing a bit too much. That is what I was referring to. I hope that makes sense. 5 goals, 2 assists tonight for Erling Haaland and 49 goals. Yeah, listen, I've probably praised Erling Haaland more than any other non-Man City fan in the world. I actually think I probably praised him and said bigger things and more complimentary things about him than most City fans. But I don't have to slag anybody else off in the process like a lot of them idiots seem to do. I told you all this 3 years ago, and I stand by it. The most naturally gifted European player, the European striker, goal-scoring wise, ever. And the best, he isn't as young anymore, but I said it 3 years ago, and I was right then, and I'm right now. I said the best young striker, goal-scoring wise, since R9 that Europe has ever had play here. And he just keeps going better and better and better and better. And by the way, his goal record is even greater because it is for Norway. And I'm sorry if this offends any Norwegians, but it's not as though you're a France or a Germany, like a peak Germany, a peak France, or a peak Spain. Your team is good, got some very good players in it, but you sit where you sit in the world of football. You are the equivalent of a mid. You're like a Fulham. You're like a Fulham of the international world, not a crap team, but not one of the big nations. For him to score that amount of goals is astronomical. And I can say nothing more. I can say nothing more than what a world-class player he is. And I'm not for censoring speech per se, but it should become a criminal offense to talk about him as a League One player. It should be an instant criminal offense. You get 150 community hours community service. We should ban it. It should be banned. And obviously, that's a joke. I don't actually think that, if that makes sense. I don't think Madueke was that good tonight, Terry. Thought he lacked quality from the final cross and pass and didn't want to take his man on. Rashford and Gordon looked more dangerous. Gordon looked good, and Rashford came on against 10 men, exhausted legs. Listen, that's your opinion. I'm going to respect it. I politely disagree. I think it was a fantastic performance tonight from Noni Madueke from start to finish, if I'm being absolutely honest. I think from start to finish, I thought it was a very, very, very top performance from him. I'm going to bring Ash out now. Ash wants to have a say about this game this evening. Let me turn these earphones down because it's very loud. Ash, welcome back to the show, mate. What button am I looking for? This one here. Welcome back. Win for England tonight. We were both a little disappointed after the last game. It was a little drab, very slow.
It's coming home.
Logic. Sorry, mate?
It's coming home, Terry.
It's coming home.
Mate, do you know what? I'm actually so happy. But I am going to say this. I'm slightly worried about one position. So, in like the Euros and the World Cup, we had the big right back problem. We had too many. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a massive issue in this 10 role because you think who we have: Bellingham, Palmer, Rodgers, Foden, potentially Grealish if he carries on his form with his assists at Everton, and Gibbs White. Who the hell's going to be playing there?
See, I look at it. It's a great point to bring up. I look at it this way: Palmer and Bellingham are going to be there. They're going to be there.
100%.
But I think this is also about weighing up. So Grealish, for me, I still think Grealish plays better to the left. From the left coming in. So I would, if he gets his form back, I would always look at Grealish and go, he's an alternative to a touchline winger. Plus, he can play 10. I think that's sometimes. Look, this is if Grealish keeps playing well and gets back into the squad. But I think that's what we've got to weigh up here. Is when you're looking at the length and breadth of the country, there is a problem because they can't all come. And when Palmer and Bellingham and Saka are fit, that creates an issue. I think we've got to look at players that come multifaceted. So Palmer, for instance, I think comes in anyway, but he can go on the right. And I think maybe that's why Noni Madueke today has made it difficult because you've got Bowen, who's better than Madueke, typically speaking, week in, week out. But Noni Madueke in an England shirt is a different beast. You've got obviously Saka's the main starting player there. Palmer can play out in that position, and you're going to bring him anyway. It's a great problem to have, and that's why the result was so important for me tonight, Ash, because we've got all this talent, we've got all this quality. We need to start seeing. I don't expect 5-0 every game. I really, really don't. But I expect to see more games where we blow teams away than we have seen in the last couple of years, especially in qualifiers.
The best thing that came out of today was the press. How high pressure we had. You think like we nearly scored a goal just by pressing straight into their box like 60, 70 a minute. Like that is what I want to see Tuchel doing. What I want to see him bringing on substitutes late in the game to have legs to be able to carry on the press. But that is the one good thing that, say, Tino and Gordon, you've got Arsenal players, these teams that have club levels of high pressing football, they're bringing it now into international. And that is what's going to, if we can carry that over, we're going to be a dangerous side. We're going to be a very dangerous side. But again, it's going to be that conversation. Can Noni be able to do it maybe against some of these better teams like France and stuff? It's going to be hard to see because I think there is such a big disparity when you at international level, when you go from, say, France to Andorra, it is a massive jump. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting when that happens. But Gordon, I think, played amazing. Like I've been saying, that I think he should start over Rashford. I think it showed it today. He is a very, very, very high intensity player, and this is what I was saying is like the overlaps he can do with Tino, because obviously they play with each other at club level. So those partnerships that you get where you get the ball to you and you can just pass it into an area because say Tino is going to be running onto there because you do it week in, week out with him. It's amazing.
There's very good relationships in that way tonight that I liked looking at, and I think it's we spoke about this after the last game, and I think the one thing I would be thinking now if I'm Tuchel, now there's always someone that does something special, and you go, well, actually maybe they've got to go to the World Cup. What feels really weird is it feels like the World Cup qualifiers have just started, because some have, but yet the World Cup's in the summer. It feels like this is really late, but I think what Tuchel's got to do, this is my advice to Thomas Tuchel, it's sit down now and go, right, these are the main 28 people that I would pick for my 23-man squads that I would use. And almost, unless there's something extra special someone's doing that you can't ignore everybody else. I don't want to hear this, well, these 5 have been informed for the last month. These guys that, Kane's gone 3 games without scoring, he shouldn't be in the next squad, right? We've heard people say nonsense like that. Know who your squad is and keep picking a lot of the same people, because you need to build the relationships. And I think you can cheat a little bit. You can cheat a little bit when you're saying, well, Reece James and Saka have played together quite a bit in England. But you know what? If we've got Palmer in the squad and Madueke's in the squad, you can see it. You can see the combinations that can be played there. Livramento, as you mentioned, and Gordon, if they're starting, they've played with one another before. It's this you've got this element of who can you bring into the squad that's within that range of players you want, that already have working relationships with these players, that makes your job as a coach that little bit easier. That's what I think we've got to do. We're obviously going to have 3 more international breaks before the World Cup. And, we have people hate hearing this. Rival fans of the nation hate hearing this, but we have the talent to be able to win it. But it's about maybe do it. We've done it. We did this well with Southgate, but I don't think he had the tactical nous. We've got to continue to do it brilliantly with Tuchel, and he's a better tactician. We need to pick the best team and squad, not the best players, not the best names on paper. And I think that's where we've gone wrong for 30, 40, 50 years in this country, if I'm being honest with you. Ram's with us as well tonight. What are you saying, mate?
Yeah, it was a very, very good performance. I think we kind of dealt with a lot of the deficiencies that Serbia have. I know for a fact the wingers would have a lot of joy. The fact that the centre-backs are very, 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 very slow. They're not very good against very pacey opposition. But look, fair play to England. They took their chances, played some really good football as well, away from home in a very hostile environment. It's definitely something to take forward to as we're leading up to 2026. And on the point of the problem with us having loads of 10s in the squad, at some point we just got to be ruthless. We've got to be ruthless and say, look, we have so much quality. You got to perform this season. If you don't perform, you're not coming on the plane. It's as simple as that. Many teams have had that issue for such a long time. Spain is a very, very good example. They had to leave out so many players that should have been on the team through their quality, but other players were better. And look what happened to them. They ended up winning 2 Euros and a World Cup at that point. So I think at this point, ruthlessness is the only way we can go about trying to win the major trophies on the national stage.
I completely agree with that, but there's one thing that's going to worry me. I know exactly what the English media is going to do. They're going to be like, there's going to be headlines of the players that have missed out. And if, say, Bellingham, if he starts, which he always will, let's be honest, if he underperforms, there'll be a headline saying, oh, Foden should have been in the squad because of this or whatever. And it's going to happen because it happened with the right back situation. But we have an unbelievable problem of the amount of talent that we have in the position, in the creative position.
We do. I think this is where the media, the fans and England have to ignore the media. So, for instance, I believe in creating a club environment. But this is where I look at Foden. I'm someone who's always rated Foden. I'm never someone who's attacked him. But he's never really done it in an England shirt. And just as I've said earlier, you could be Danny Welbeck in an England shirt. He's probably the most consistent I saw him in his whole career. Any club, any level. He was just always really good for England, even when he wasn't scoring. Foden, I know he's had a bad year or so for City, but he's never really played that well for England. So for me, there's this element of, even if he's in great form for City, he barely delivers for England.
Yeah.
His club form almost shouldn't matter if you've got Bellingham that's delivered in an England shirt, Palmer that's delivered in an England shirt, Madueke that's looking really good in an England shirt, Gordon's looking really good in an England shirt. Let's say that Foden does get a chance in the next two internationals, and Rashford gets a chance. Rashford kills it. Foden's rubbish. I then look at it and go, do you know what? Even if Foden's brilliant for the last 4 months of the season, he don't go. Stick with the players that play well for England rather than just they're playing well for their club. We tried doing this with Harry Maguire. I know it was about 3 years ago. It was dog for Man United. The amount of people that wanted him out of the England squad, I'm sitting there going, hang on. I criticise him every week for United and I want him sold. But as an England fan, he weren't putting a foot wrong. The only time he put a foot wrong is after everyone was attacking him for being for being in the England squad, and had one dodgy game and got sent off. After that, was back to his best, and it was like, you man were turning on one of your best performers because you didn't like the club he played for. It's backwards thinking. It's, for me, the same as this. Would you want? Imagine Alexander Isak. No, he's at your club now. He's at Liverpool. Imagine Alexander Isak goes 30 games on the bounce for Sweden without scoring, but he's scoring every week for your team. Would you want him dropped for Liverpool because he ain't scoring internationally?
No.
So imagine wanting that the other way. Imagine you have a striker that scores 1 in every 3 internationals, but is barely scoring at club level. Why would you want him dropped? If you're a fan of that nation, it makes no sense.
Also,
sometimes as England fans, we are thick as shit. Thick as shit.
It's also
sometimes, always.
we always say that this game's become a lot more like system based. It depends on the manager and everything. If a player doesn't work for the system, for this England system that Tuchel wants to deploy, then why should he be picked? Why should he be put into the team? If he's not going to work, then it's just going to be a detriment to the team. And I'll give you an example, right? I know our media is notorious for outlandish headlines against some of these players. I think if you're looking at it from a England squad point of view, it's just got to be a case of, it's us. We're here to win it for the nation, regardless of what anyone thinks, regardless what even our own fans think. It's only us, and it's us against everybody else. Because I know for a fact in '98, the French media had a lot more things to say about the French football team back in the day. They didn't like any of the players that they picked. Had a lot of things to say about Zidane, but look what happened then. They ended up winning the World Cup in '98. So it's got to be the same thing for us.
I get that. I get that. And like people saying, Terry, you don't think club form should count at all? I didn't say at all. But there comes a point where, example I'm giving, let's just say that the defense is set, but then who's a good England defender, a decent England defender, not in the squad? Someone name one for me.
Not in the squad.
Kwanzaa.
I mean, he's in the squad.
Oh, he's in the squad.
He started today. It was him again today.
Yeah.
He scored a goal.
No, that's Kwanzaa. Who's the Liverpool guy? Kwanzaa Leverkusen.
Oh, Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa. I thought you said Konza.
No, I was like, my brain's gone. I didn't think Kwanzaa started. Kwanzaa, right? Let's just say he's not in the England squad at all. But we get to February, and he starts playing in Germany like a man possessed, in the German press, best in the league, best in the league, best in the league. I don't care. I don't care if he's in the best in the league for 4 or 5 months over there. You've not been part of these squads. You don't have the relationship with the players. You haven't. I would look at it and go, don't put him in. We did it with, like, you look at Rashford in 2016 when he got into the England squad and then didn't kick a ball. It was actually like, well, I don't mind an attacking wild card if you're actually going to use them, because the rival nations knew nothing about him then. We did it with Theo Wilcock, took him at 16. I was actually quite excited. Even in games we were losing, we didn't even throw him on. So we just took up a seat that wasn't being used. What I don't want us to do is do this normal thing of, well, he hasn't been in the best form for the last month or two. He shouldn't be on the plane. I'm mainly assessing what they've done in an England shirt, not what they're doing at club level, because that's what matters most. Because they're not playing for their club at the Euros or the World Cup. They're playing for England. And I think we've got to change our mindset as a nation. I think we're really backwards with it. I really do think we are.
Do you know what did worry me today? Why the hell did Jordan Henderson come on?
I don't get why he's in the squad, to be fair.
I mean, every single time you always hear it. Oh, he is literally like the person who brings up morale. He's so good. Like, why are we not just bringing him in as a coach? Because what are we doing? Like, he's came off the bench on the 80th minute. Yeah, Kwanzaa was on the bench. Yeah, I've just checked.
Was he on the bench? I didn't even know that. Fair enough.
He actually had the number 3 shirt.
It's two things I see from this. Is one, we have a big problem in terms of personnel where the manager doesn't think that anyone else that is good enough to come in for Henderson. The second thing is either the manager really likes the player in the squad, which is a bit of an issue because the guy's getting on, and we still need to get rid of the old guard and bring in some of the new people in, because let's be honest, he's not going to be playing.
You know what? I will say on that, what you're on about, about bringing in like the new people. There is one thing that I am very happy to do with having Tuchel as the manager, because obviously he doesn't have a long contract with us. So he's not going to be thinking about embedding people for the future, like what obviously Southgate has done. Yeah. So he's going to be looking at the here and now.
I don't care about that. And by the way, listen, people, like, I didn't look at the bench tonight when the starting lineups come out. So my apologies for not seeing that he was there. But again, if all the other centre backs were fit, would he be in the squad? Maybe not. No. But the point I'm making is Levi Cole was a great example. He'd be in there over him as a definite. The point is, and you can pick someone who's in the squad now. Let's just say Kwanzaa doesn't get in again, or let's just say Bowen now doesn't play for England again until because of, let's say Madueke continues.
Adam Wharton, for example.
And Palmer's fit. Yeah, Adam Wharton's a great example. If Wharton cannot get in the England squad for the next 2 or 3 internationals, and then the back end of the season's in brilliant form, but obviously Declan Rice is playing well, Bowen's killing it, Elliot Anderson goes from strength to strength, keeps playing for England and looks good, I then wouldn't look. I'd probably take Wharton over Henderson, but I then wouldn't look at it and go, well, Henderson's had a really good last 6 months. You've got to be in the England team. Someone said, but Terry, that's what Manu did. No, well, Manu got into the England squad with a few internationals to go and played well for England and established himself in the team. I just think, though, what we've got to do, and there was also a hole in the side. We had a need for that. The point is, if you've got an Elliot Anderson, if Elliot Anderson and Wharton were already in the England team when Manu broke through, he probably wouldn't have gone. So again, if we've got a need for something, if all our 10s are injured and then some guys had a good few months, then yes, you bring him. But we're just talking in general here. We haven't got to keep looking for extreme examples on this stuff. We just need to make sure. I stand by what I say. I don't care who's on the bench today. It doesn't actually undo the point I'm making. We need to create a club type squad rather than ever evolving and changing one based on form at club level only. We have to look at what they've done. Madueke, to me, 1 or 2 more performances like this at international games, he's on the plane. He's just on the plane.
100%.
He's got to be. I think when it comes to England, I think the one thing that is for sure is that starting 11 is just trying to fill it up with decent quality that we can know that has a certain ability that could change a game or even provide some form of potency against the opposition. Because like you said, Madueke had an amazing game, but we need to see more of it. We need to see if he can do it consistently against better teams. And then if he does, then he's definitely coming on the squad.
So Dribdu says this: we need people that can win the ball back, and Wharton does that very, very well. And Wharton's probably going to get opportunities in this England squad and play. But I'm using a player that we all want in the squad as an example. If because of injury and form he isn't picked for Octobers or Novembers or Marches, I then don't care what he does in April and May. I don't think he should go to the Euros unless there's a burning need because of an injury crisis. I want, again, or if all the other midfielders are playing crap and we're not doing very well, it's different. So we're creating these scenarios now. I thought it was very clear what I was saying, and maybe I'm explaining it wrong. If we're performing as we are today and we're getting better, we're growing relationships and we're dominating games, and people like Anderson are playing well, Rodgers are playing well, Madueke is playing well, it shouldn't matter if they have a bad month or so in the Prem. We know what they've done for England, and that should override that form, generally speaking. I really do think we should be aiming to do that. I still think
February should be the cutoff point, whereas the manager should have a good idea what his squad's going to look like. Because I know for a fact we have like a 33-man squad at the start, then it gets cut down to 23 after a while.
Something like that. Yeah, exactly.
It's 26, is it gone down lower?
Yeah,
I don't know. I know we get a substantial amount of players before the tournament, then it gets cut. and then we have our squad for the World Cup. So there's plenty of time for players to perform. And look, we'll have a very good idea of the team on February time. So
this is he was right to bench Eze tonight for Rogers. I mean, I thought Eze was okay.
Was it a laser or something? What's going on?
Fuck you.
The Serbians were back out with the lasers.
Sorry.
What was that?
Someone the other half just standing in my office there in the dark behind the light. Sorry, done me. Right. Anyway. Sent me that, did. I just thought it was. I could see something. And sometimes you get in the lights in my office, you get like a bit. It's weird. You get like a bit of dust that's really close, but it looks like it's further away. And I thought it was something there, and I looked, and then I saw a face. I was like, oh no. But the thing is, I should know it isn't an intruder because my dog wouldn't have it. Does that make sense? Like I'd hear if it was an intruder, but like one of my neighbors, I was cleaning my car today, and my neighbor came onto my driveway. I had earphones in, but I knew someone come on my driveway because my dog was going crazy. I was like, such a good boy. He's learned very well. But yes, this here, I had a few super chats here. First one says, big up everyone tonight. Thank you, my friend. Matt here says, tell it's the same with all the top 6 teams players. If they were Chelsea, United, and Spurs players, people will attack them comes with the territory. There's one thing I actually love. I hate the fact there's no United players in this team because it means United aren't playing well. But I love the fact that United used to have loads of players in the England squad. But what I used to hate about it is that if they did well, it would fuck them. If they did badly, everyone jumped on it. I actually quite like watching England with no United players in the squad because I can just enjoy it and there's no weird agendas towards my players. It's so nice, man. I can't even lie. Like, I didn't think I'd like it. I actually prefer it. I almost don't want any Man United. I do because I want Kobe back in the United team killing it, right? But I actually, part of me doesn't want any United players in the England team at all.
When was the last time that actually happened?
What? Having no one in the squad or a United player in the squad? No. In my lifetime, I don't ever remember it happening.
I don't remember that either.
No, I don't remember that ever. For the top 4 teams, for Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, and United, I never remember in my lifetime that an England team in a tournament had none of those players.
This is Terry. What's your thoughts on the omission of Miles Lewis-Skelly tonight? I don't know what the reason was given for it, but I don't think it's a problem. He's a young player. Your own manager has started Calafiori this season. You bought Hankape. Excellent debut season for Miles Lewis-Skelly. But I think we have got this weird obsession with bringing kids through at 17, 18, 19, and then this weird view that they're just going to play 50, 60, 70 if they're playing international games a season at that age, and they're going to be okay at 24, 25. I actually think one of the biggest issues with Bukayo Saka right now, I think his body is shagged out. Yeah. I think and because he was used so much. So I don't think it's a bad thing whatsoever. Ignore the noise that he's crap rubbish and the manager don't rate him. If the manager didn't rate him, he wouldn't be in the squad. It's as simple as that.
Say it. Just trigger all the Arsenal fans saying he's not that good. Like,
do you know what? I think there was a different reason why he wasn't like playing today. I think it was because he wanted to see that partnership of Gordon and Tino on the left, because obviously he didn't start Gordon last time on there or Tino. So I think that was part of it. I don't think it's read too much into it. Because he is Lewis-Skelly's an amazing prospect.
Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into it at all. I look at he's one of I spoke about earlier. I know that everyone another weird thing that's become like a gospel truth, but it's fake. Is this? We need specialists. You need some specialists in your team, but you need versatility. I just think about through my life watching football and all the great teams, the versatility, players that could cover a couple of positions, or I know that there's modern day words like inverting or overlapping and underlapping and all that, but those kind of things have always existed in some degree, because I remember Owen Hargreaves playing at right back for United, but stepping into the midfield. Nobody called it inverting though. It's just got a new word now, and I think from that perspective, where Lewis-Skelly is good is that he can go into the midfield, he can play at left back. He's got that. He's multifaceted in that way, and I think that will come into the thinking. You can't have all the players. Harry Kane's a specialist. Gahey's a specialist. Goalkeepers, of course, are all specialists. You need some players like that. Like Morgan Rogers, for me, I only really want to see him play centrally. I know he can drift out wide, but then you've got Palmer, and you've got people like that where they can play central, they can go out wide. That's one thing I used to like about Foden. I just think we've got better international players now than Foden, in a sense of that can cover the positions he used to play in. I don't think he's like I would say Rashford's England career has been better than Foden's. It's he's done more at major tournaments, and it's a shame because he's so good. He's just so good. But good point. Point being made there. Boys, I want to thank you both for jumping on tonight. I appreciate it loads. And we're nearly, though, I love tonight. Tonight was a great game, but we're nearly, almost, ladies and gentlemen, back with actual football coming back soon. Only a couple of days away, which we're all very, very excited about. Into that, is there some internationals tomorrow as well? Or is it done now?
I think it's South America tomorrow.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, sort of today, but tomorrow for us. Yeah, so that's it. And then everyone gets their players back. So thank you all very, very much for coming on. I appreciate it and tuning in. We're back tomorrow with more content, including Straight Facts in the afternoon with Hussam and won't be Hussam and Mo. It's Hussam and LB tomorrow. Mo is on holiday. So I will catch you guys all soon. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you in a bit. Peace.